I remember the first time Andrii came to my office. He sat down quietly, his hands clasped tightly together, his eyes tired not from lack of sleep, but from months of emotional exhaustion. He spoke slowly, choosing each word with care, like someone afraid that his voice might break if he spoke too fast. He said, "I just don't understand how everything fell apart. We came here to start a new life, and somehow I lost her." Andrii and Olga were from Kharkiv, a city that once pulsed with life and light, until the war came. When the first explosions echoed near their home, they packed only what they could carry: passports, a few photos, and a small laptop. Andrii couldn't leave behind. They fled to Poland first, then to the United States, to Seattle, Washington. It was a city of rain and grey skies, but for them it was also a place of safety and hope. Andrii found work quickly in IT. He was talented, calm under pressure, logical, patient. Olga, however, struggled. The language barrier, the loneliness, the reconciliation. It all built up inside her. Back home, she had a vibrant social life. Here, the silence of their small apartment became unbearable. At first, Andrii didn't notice. He was working long hours, trying to secure their future. He'd often come home late, exhausted but happy to see her. He would smile and say, "We're going to be okay, Olga. Just give it a bit more time." And she'd nod, forcing a smile that never quite reached her eyes. From a psychological perspective, this is where many relationships begin to fracture. Not from conflict, but from distance. When two people face trauma together, they may respond differently. One becomes focused on survival, while the other quietly grieves the loss of normal life. For Olga, that grief turned into restlessness. She began going out with a small group of Ukrainians she'd met online. They organized weekend meetups, karaoke nights, and small parties. Andrii encouraged her to go. "You need friends here," he said. "You've been through so much." What he didn't realize was that among those new friends was a man named Dmytro, charming, confident, and unburdened by the quiet discipline that defined Andrii. Dmytro had arrived in the US years earlier and knew how to make people laugh, how to give attention, how to make someone feel seen. It started innocently, shared jokes, messages about upcoming events. But soon, those messages became longer, more personal. Late-night texts, compliments, emotional intimacy that crossed a line. "I didn't want to spy on her," Andrii told me. His voice trembled slightly as he continued. "But one night she left her laptop open. I saw the chat. There were photos, messages, things you can unsee." I remember how he sat back in silence after that sentence. The betrayal wasn't loud, it was quiet, hidden behind months of smiles and casual goodbyes. The messages read, "I can't stop thinking about you. When I'm with him, I feel nothing anymore. I wish I could just be with you, without all this guilt." Andrii stared at the screen for a long time. He didn't yell, didn't break anything. He just closed the laptop, went into the bathroom, and sat on the floor. From a clinical perspective, this is what we call APS frozen trauma, when the nervous system shuts down under the weight of emotional shock. He described that night as feeling both fully awake and completely detached from reality. In the following weeks, Andrii tried to confront the situation gently. He asked Olga if she was unhappy. She deflected. He asked if she was seeing someone else. She denied it, but her distance grew. She stopped waiting for him at dinner. She spent weekends with friends, and once when he asked to join, she said flatly, "It's not your crowd." One day he noticed a second phone in her bag. Another time he found a receipt for an Airbnb rental under her name. It was then he realized the affair had gone far beyond messages. When he finally confronted her, she didn't cry. She sat across from him at the kitchen table, her expression calm but detached. "I didn't mean for it to happen," she said quietly. "But I can't lie anymore. I haven't loved you for a long time." He asked her one question. Was it worth it? She didn't answer. When Andrii came to therapy, he wasn't looking for revenge. He wanted understanding, closure. He said, "I keep asking myself what I did wrong. I gave her everything, stability, care, love, but maybe love wasn't enough." In cases like Andrii's, I often remind my clients that betrayal is rarely about inadequacy. It's about disconnection. Olga wasn't chasing passion, she was escaping emptiness. But instead of healing that emptiness with honesty, she filled it with deception. For months after the breakup, Andrii struggled with guilt and insomnia. He replayed their memories in his head. Their first winter walk in Kharkiv, their laughter over instant coffee during air raid sirens, their dreams of safety. He said, "We ran from bombs, and yet what destroyed us wasn't the war. It was what came after." That line stayed with me. It captured something profound, that survival doesn't always mean safety. Sometimes emotional wounds cut deeper than physical ones. Slowly, Andrii began rebuilding. He focused on his health, started running, took language classes and made friends at work. There were setbacks, moments of grief, anger, nostalgia, but over time he began to smile again. He told me one day, "I'm learning to be alone without being lonely." From a therapeutic standpoint, that's the first sign of recovery, when solitude becomes peace, not punishment. A year later, Andrii met someone new, not in a rush, not as a replacement, but as a human connection that grew naturally. Her name was Emily, a designer from Seattle. She admired his calmness, his kindness. He described her as the first person I've met who listens without judging. By then, he no longer spoke about Olga with bitterness. Just quiet reflection. She was a part of my story, he said, but not the end of it. Healing after betrayal isn't about forgetting, it's about integrating. Andrii's journey showed that closure doesn't come when the pain disappears, but when the story changes meaning. He stopped seeing himself as a victim of betrayal and began seeing himself as a survivor of emotional rebirth. And that, perhaps, is the truest form of victory. Betrayal often feels like the end of everything, but in truth, it's the beginning of deeper self-awareness. When someone's love collapses, what remains is the foundation of identity. And from there, with patience, with courage, people rebuild, just as Andrii did.